We came without incident to the tunnel of Halroth, and ventured within. Our greatest danger lay ahead.
It is time. Lendelin and the other elves of the Bright Company have gone ahead to secure the tunnel, but we must still remain alert for any threats that might have arisen behind them. Stay near me. This way, Melon, for... Oh, Gottman in the service. And their servants lie in wait. Yeah. Oh, Gauntman. Ah! Nothing worse than Gauntmen that stun you and then do nasty things while you're stunned. Alright. Oh, hello! Whew. The risen serpents are no match for the Glanathreme. I guess they aren't. Whew. Continue. The passage climbs, and we get more of these. Yeah. Well, so what if he gets to summon off? I've got Glorfindel with me. Glanathreme Inspiration. Okay. Ooh, where's Lindolin? He has gone ahead, my lord. Did he give any reason for it? Trolls, quoth he. Wonderful. That sounds like him. Lendolin has never been one to exercise caution, not when he knows his fellows could be endangered by some approaching threat. On any other day I would appreciate this trait, but on this day Lendolin is still the only elf among us with the ability to break Sauron's hold upon the Vandasar. His role is crucial, and he must be protected. Well, and I guess I know who's going to do it. Let us reach Lindolin before he does something rash. All right. Oh, but we've got these guys still. More Gauntmen have crept up. Yeah, they like doing that. Well, that's right. Gotta stay close to him because he gives wonderful inspiration. It appears the Lindland found his trolls. Yeah. Oh, there he is. We saw your handiwork, Lindolin, but you should have waited for us. I accept the rebuke, my friend, but now there are enough trolls for all. Oh. Oh, hello! Yeah, well, we'll take care of trolls. Halroth cave trolls. I think that's the last of them. The passage begins to rise. We must be nearing the mountainside, well nigh to the side of the tower. Right. Hold a moment, Glorfindel. There is a crack in the wall of the tower, and the tunnel runs right to it. But it is not undefended. Speak on, my old friend. What defends the entrance? More trolls? Nothing so corporeal. It is a shade, a spirit of no little power. Sauron charged it with the defense of the wall until the masonry could be repaired. It's called Zachathrog. We cannot turn back now. We must defeat this shade. Onward, my friends! Onward! And deal with this shade. Sauron must not think that we would dare this passage. Well, we do dare it. Unless, of course, it's a trap. I mean, that's always the possibility. Gauntmen are poor defense against the Bright Company. Well, maybe. We draw near the wall. Oh, more of them! Ha 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 ha! Ouch! Well, that takes care of most of them. Well, and you, and you, and you, and all of you. Continue. I think I found the shade. I did not believe it. But the rumors are true. Invaders in the tunnel. At last, I will prove myself to the master. Well, oh. Ouch. Well, let's see how well you proved. Ah! Well, that's the great shade that was defending the place? Huh! Farewell, Zacharog! Oh, boy. We are within the walls of Barad-dûr. Oh, boy. Listen to me very carefully, friend Warden. Ahead, a stair spirals to the upper chambers of the tower, where Vandasar awaits me. That is our destination. But we will be exposed on the stairs, and I fear the hateful eyes that may watch our ascent. This I suggest, that you go first. What? No, 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 don't protest. I do not jest. I wish for you to climb first, so I may cover your ascent with my bow. I will slay any foes that think to threaten you from afar, and then the rest of us will follow. We will meet you atop the stairs. You climb the spiral stair and speak with an elf of the Bright Company outside the upper chambers. Fear nothing, Meloth. I will protect you. Right. Sounds like a fun place to go. Barad-dûr. Oh, hello. Thanks for shooting your bow. Well, I suppose that works. Do I continue up, I guess? Right. Up at the upper chamber, so I guess I go up higher. Hello! Well, I guess the bow is still working. Well, how does he... So accurate on these curving stairs. This isn't exactly the best spot for firing a bow. Well, I guess we don't. Oh, well then, here we are. Over here. Ah, hello. I will think no worse of you if you choose to turn back. No? You wish to stay? Then you're truly one of us. Melon. Follow the bright company. All right. This way, my lords. All right, good. And up here. Well, this should be really a fun place. Oh, boy. Oh, let's see. The Wohan, the witch. You're foolish indeed to challenge the will of Sauron. What gives you strength to this foolish courage? The Gluthathreme will defy you. For a time, perhaps? We cannot stay here, though it grieves me deeply to have my friends to their doom. Our goal lies above. Ledlin must reach the Vandasar. Right? Ledlin, it's time. Right. Well, so that's what happens to the Bright Company. Not a fun fate to face all of the 9. Yes. Now, what do we have here? Few come uninvited to the Tower of Sauron. How did you gain entrance to my sanctum? Zacharog! He will be punished! But first, let me see who possesses such boldness. You are not Gil-galad, but I do know you, Elf Lord. Your king sent you here to die? If that is to be my doom, I will accept it. But who are these others? Do they too choose death? Then I grant it! Ooh. Talking to Sauron. I have not seen your kind before. What powers do you wield? Why should the Elf Lords bring you to the sanctum of Sauron? What should he wish for you to die here? It is no consequence. I have called into being a storm, and it is on its way. Your alliance will be swept away by the wrath of it. As for the third member of this foolish band, what is the meaning of this guise you wear? You are no elf. Sauron? Did you think you could work your evil unopposed? But that means... Sauron, face me! Now, Lendalin! Got one of them. It's done! The power of the Vandasar is broken! We cannot stay here. Follow me. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I agree. Out of way, out of way, out of way. Do not stop for any reason. Wonderful. Not even for all these Nazgul that are here? My friends, I'm sorry. Run away, run away. Hurry! Hurry. Wait. Where's Lendolin? Well, Lendolin fell as soon as the thing broke. I thought he was right behind us, but it is not so. Lendolin, forgive me, my friend. Alas, that we must bring word to both your triumph and your loss to the Great Alliance. By your hands, the Vandasar is broken, and Sauron's control over the Khazar Baron must begin to wane, and you should celebrate with us. But it is not to be. Quickly, Milan! There is no time to spare. And is that the end of the story? I remember little of the last desperate flight down the stairs and through the tunnels of Hauroth. When we returned to the relative safety of Autumnbell, we were greeted with more sorrow than we brought with us. Men spoke in hushed tones, and of the last ride of noble Anarion, son of the High King, slain on the field before the Dark Tower. It was a great stone, cast from the heights, that laid him low and ended his life. But I will never forget that it was his writing that granted us access to Hauroth, and enabled Lendolin to break Sauron's hold upon the Vandasar. For so it was. Without the power of the Old Stone, the Khazar Baron splintered. No longer unified, the storm of wrath dissipated, falling apart into its component tribes. The Easterlings fled, no longer dominated by Sauron's will, and they turned instead for their own lands. Their appetite for conquering was sated, and it would be many years before their return. Even so, Middle-earth has never seen so great a horde as a Khazar Baron in its time ever since, and we have Lendolin to thank for it. You have become very quiet, Gandalf. Is everything all right? I do not know, Lord Elrond. Something speaks to me from the distant past. Your story is not ended, Glorfindel. I would hear the end of it. Are you certain, my friend? I am. Lendolin was not slain, though he remained behind. Sauron brought him to the dungeons of Barad-dûr. There he was tortured, tormented by the Dark Lord. The experience was cruel. Finally, he succumbed to death. Death? Sauron said that Lendolin was not of your people. Sauron spoke true. Lendolin was no elf, and that was not his true name. He had been sent to Middle-earth by the Valar in the guise of my people. He was to combat the evils of Sauron, and this he did. Many years later, in the Third Age of Middle-earth, they sent him back. They gave him a new name and a new form. They also gave him this kindness. They removed all memory of his life as Lendelin. Can it be so? Yes, I remember. I have walked this middle earth for the long years of this third age, sent by the powers to oppose Sauron. But this was not the first time the Valar sent me hither, though they hid the truth of it from my memory sight. For what purpose? It is true, I remember the bright company, not only from the tales of Glorfindel, but as if I were there. For so I was, in different form. I know the torments Lendelin suffered within the dungeons of Barad-dûr, for it was I who suffered them. And though Sauron be gone, the memory of those days fills me with terror I thought I'd never be to know. But this cut is the worst. I have known these elf lords for so long, and the secret they kept from me. Why? Why did you keep the truth from me, Glorfindel? Have I not been a friend to you, no matter the name I wore? You knew me first as Olorine, and now you know me as Gandalf, or Mithrandir. Why would you keep the knowledge of Lendelin from me? No, I am not angry. Perhaps it was a kindness to keep it from me. What say you to this? What say you?
And so it is done.
When I beheld Olorine in a new guise in this third age, I knew him to be Lendelin come again, and yet he knew nothing of his former life, and remembered nothing of the trials he endured within Barad-dûr. I could think of no one reason only for that. The Valar had kept the memory of that experience from him as a mercy and a kindness. For it, if he remembered the cruel tortures he suffered at the hands of Sauron, how could he oppose the Dark Lord upon his return, knowing the extent of Sauron's malice? And so we chose not to speak of Lendelin or his sad fate within the Dark Tower during the final days of the Second Age. I did not wish to inflict this harm upon Olorine, Mithrandir, or Gandalf, and for that I beg his forgiveness. Lendelin was my closest adviser, my dearest friend, and I failed him. I thought it best to leave his memory behind, for if that was the purpose of the Valar, I would not wish to do otherwise.
Do not trouble yourself, Glorfindel, on my account.
All that was kept from me has been restored, and I do not begrudge you for keeping the secret that which the Valar hid from me. Indeed, in this knowledge I find reassurance, for I see now that my reluctance to oppose Sauron directly was born from Lendelin's sad fate. And is it not true that Frodo's quest proved successful, and the Ring of the Dark Lord both defeated in one stroke? Indirect opposition found success, where direct opposition could not. And in that I may say the Bright Company came at last to have its greatest triumph. But I remember now that which I did not before. I know the end of this tale.
While Sauron tormented Lendelin within Barad-dûr, his enemies were not idle.
Yes, the leaders of the Great Alliance met once more in secret. A trap was decided upon, a trap with which to ensnare Sauron and draw him forth from the tower. The Lady Galadriel had remained at Minas Ithil after she and Lord Celeborn drove the Nazgûl from the valley. Now she sent her thoughts to Lendalin, and she spoke directly through Sauron's prisoner to the Dark Lord. Once broke the gates of Ithil, Lendalin said, in his last breath upon him, and Sauron laughed, for he had the mastery. Two sundered the ramparts of Morannon, Lendalin continued, and doubt began to gnaw at the Dark Lord. He had long feared the elven rings, and in his secret heart he dreaded to think of what could be used against him. But three, Lendalin said, at the last of his strength departed, the power of the three, wielded together, shall cast you down at last. And so Lendalin perished, and his final words remain hidden to me for this past age. But now I know what they wrought, for it was by this message that the deceiver was himself deceived. Sauron climbed to the pinnacle of Barad-dûr, and looking from the vast height he beheld a shining figure ascending the slopes of Mount Doom. Fear seized him, and he imagined that Gil-galad possessed all three elven rings, and would use them together to destroy him, for the three were hidden from his sight, but he thought he could sense that they had been united at last. The end of the tale. But what does Elrond have to say?
The Dark Lord unleashed the last of his armies in a final bid to destroy his enemies.
I was with my king on that day. I know what befell. The Dark Lord opened his gates and emptied Barad-dûr, unleashing the last of his armies in a final bid to destroy those who besieged him. On the slopes of Mount Doom, he brandished his dark mace Mordagnir, wading through the friend and foe alike, until at last he faced the high kings of the Alliance. The One Ring shone on his finger, and he sent forth his evil thoughts, seeking to dominate Gil-galad's mind when the dawned the three. But he did not see it. Gil-galad threw back his head and laughed at Sauron, and the Dark Lord was filled with rage. The rings of my people may be together, my liege declared, but they are far from here, far from you. Sauron knew that he had been deceived, lured from the safety of his tower, and he knew his peril. But above all else, he desired to inflict anguish upon those arrayed before him. He sent his will into the One Ring, and his foes were held fast by a spell. Sauron fell upon them in deadly combat, and great gouts of ash and flame roared from the peak of Mount Doom. I stood on the slope, too far to aid my king, but near enough to feel the terrible heat of that battle. Even now, I can feel it, and I know the pain of that day anew. Defiant Cloak of the Many Dooms.
That day, as battle raged upon Gorgoroth, the fates of many were decided. Gil-galad and Elendil challenged the Dark Lord, and he answered with a power none could resist. But as the enemy toyed with his foes, the kings of elves and men struck. It was their greatest deed, and their last. And after, as payment for so many losses, and Weirgild for his father's death, Isildur claimed his prize, the ruling ring.